rest of my life, knowing that I wasn't there for my baby. She must have been terrified. She must have been terrified for her children downstairs.
Imagine this, you're on top of the world. The person you love is about to ask you to spend the rest of your life with them. In that moment, everything seems perfect. But what happens when that perfect moment is shattered by violence? In this documentary, we explore the tragic story of a popular hairstylist, Amanda S. Williams, who was shot dead by the very man she trusted most, the man she had just agreed to marry. What was meant to be a celebration of love ended in a horrific tragedy, leaving family, friends, and a community heartbroken and searching for answers. How could this happen? Stay with us as we dive into the events leading up to that fateful night, the aftermath, and the fight for justice that followed. Before we dive deeper into today's chilling case, we'd love for you to join our community. If you enjoy these stories, please take a second to subscribe. Subscribing ensures you never miss an update and helps our channel grow, allowing us to continue bringing you fresh, in-depth true crime stories every day. We value your thoughts, so feel free to share your views on this case in the comments below, and let us know where you're tuning in from. Your participation truly makes a difference in expanding this community and raising awareness. Now, let's continue with the story. The 911 dispatcher is met with frantic words, as the fiancé's voice trembles with panic. "I just shot my fiancé, please help, please. I didn't mean to. I don't know what happened, just help her." The man's desperation is clear in his voice, but what could have led to such a chilling moment? The officers on the other end of the line are unaware of what they will soon witness. Law enforcement officers race to the apartment with urgency, driven by the raw fear and terror conveyed in the 911 call. As they arrive at the scene, they find a tragic and gut-wrenching sight. The apartment, once filled with laughter and love, is now the scene of a crime. Amanda S. Williams, lying lifeless on the floor, a victim of her fiancé's violent actions. The officers are met with a sense of disbelief and sorrow, facing a situation more horrific than they could have imagined. This is a scene no one could have prepared for. Amanda S. Williams was a woman full of life, born on April 18, 1977, in Cleveland, Ohio. From an early age, she showed a remarkable drive and determination, shaped by her loving, close-knit family. Amanda always had an eye for beauty and self-expression, an appreciation she carried throughout her life. Known for her vibrant energy, she became a role model for those around her, constantly striving to make a positive impact. Her life was a reflection of hard work and passion, characteristics that defined her every move. At the heart of Amanda's world were her two children, Tyler M. Williams and Trist W. Beckley, whom she loved unconditionally. As a proud mother and grandmother to her grandson Tyler M. Williams, Amanda was devoted to her family. She built her life on the principle of constant self-improvement and shared her journey with others. Whether through her social media platforms or one-on-one conversations, Amanda was always ready to uplift, motivate, and inspire those who crossed her path. She had a special way of making everyone around her feel valued and capable of reaching their dreams. Amanda's natural talent for beauty and hairstyling quickly turned into a thriving career. Starting with friends and family, she transformed her passion into a profession, eventually opening Lamb Mode Styles, a salon located in University Heights, Ohio. Her salon became more than just a place for haircuts, it became a community hub where people came for both transformation and encouragement. Over the years, Amanda's reputation grew, and so did her clientele, all thanks to her relentless dedication and undeniable skill in the art of beauty. Amanda's presence extended far beyond her salon. On social media, she shared her passion with thousands of followers. But it wasn't just beauty tips and hairstyles that she shared, it was her whole philosophy on life. Motivational quotes, personal stories of triumph, and tips for living an empowered life were regularly posted, all reflecting Amanda's belief in perseverance and self-love. Her followers admired not just her skills but her radiant spirit, which shone through every post and every message she shared. Amanda's relationship with 41-year-old Terrell Edwards had all the hallmarks of a fairy tale romance. They had been together for over 6 years, and from the outside, they appeared to be the perfect couple, constantly posting photos of their trips, holidays, and romantic dinners. Their shared milestones painted a picture of a loving, successful partnership. Amanda had found a man she believed she could spend the rest of her life with, and they were about to take their relationship to the next level with a proposal. But despite the outwardly perfect image, things weren't as flawless behind closed doors. As time went on, their relationship began to show signs of strain. Arguments, small at first, gradually became more frequent and intense. The once harmonious relationship seemed to have shifted into something much more volatile. Concerned, Amanda and Terrell sought couples therapy, hoping to repair what was starting to crumble. But the cracks only deepened, and Amanda began to feel the growing distance between them. What had seemed like a fairy tale romance was now a complicated, troubled partnership, and Amanda couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Despite trying to move forward, the tension continued to build, and she couldn't ignore the red flags. After years of ups and downs, Terrell Edwards finally made the decision to take their relationship to the next level. He had seen Amanda's resilience, her growth, and the woman she had become. Through all the hardships, he knew she was the one he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. With the support of Amanda's family and friends, Terrell carefully planned a proposal that would be unforgettable. The moment arrived, and as Amanda stood there, surprised and overwhelmed by the gesture, he dropped to one knee, presenting her with a ring. Amanda's face lit up as she realized what was happening. The joy, the tears, the excitement, it was a moment that felt like the beginning of a dream. She said yes, and the room erupted in cheers. Their friends and family celebrated as if nothing could go wrong. It was a moment that was supposed to mark the start of a beautiful future. Little did anyone know, this joyous occasion would soon turn into something much darker. But just moments after the proposal, the night, which was filled with happiness and love, took a sudden and tragic turn. What was supposed to be the beginning of a new chapter in their lives quickly escalated into chaos. In an instant, the tension that had been building between Amanda and Terrell over the past months erupted. An argument broke out, fueled by old frustrations and emotions that had been simmering beneath the surface. What started as a disagreement soon spiraled out of control, and the situation became dangerous. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, and in the heat of the moment, something snapped. The fiancé, the man Amanda had just agreed to marry, took out a gun, an action that would change everything. The argument escalated, and in a horrifying moment of rage or fear, Terrell fired. The woman he had just proposed to now lay lifeless, the future they had dreamed of shattered in an instant. What should have been the happiest night of their lives was now a night of unimaginable tragedy, leaving everyone involved grappling with the shocking reality of what had just happened. Within minutes of the shooting, Terrell Edwards made the frantic call to 911. His voice trembled with panic as he confessed to the horror that had just unfolded. He repeated over and over that he had shot Amanda, pleading for help. His words were frantic, filled with remorse and fear, but there was no going back. The damage was done, and Amanda's life had been violently taken. Law enforcement officers immediately responded to the call, rushing to the apartment in a race against time. Upon arriving, they were confronted with a heartbreaking scene. Inside the apartment, Amanda S. Williams lay motionless on the floor, her life extinguished far too soon. The room, once filled with joy and laughter, was now eerily silent, the reality of the situation settling in with a crushing weight. Amanda, the woman who had just embraced her fiancé moments ago, was now gone. Her family and friends, who had witnessed the proposal, would soon learn that their joy had turned into unbearable grief. The police quickly secured the scene, with officers left to process the magnitude of what had just occurred. A once promising future now lay in ruins, and the community was left in shock, struggling to comprehend the loss of someone who had been so full of life and ambition. The investigation into Amanda's death began almost immediately after the police secured the crime scene. Terrell Edwards was taken into custody and, during questioning, he claimed that the shooting was an act of self-defense. According to his statement, an argument between him and Amanda escalated, with Amanda allegedly threatening him with a knife. Terrell insisted that he felt his life was in danger, and in that moment, he fired his weapon in what he described as self-defense. He painted a picture of a woman who had become violent and aggressive, forcing him to protect himself. However, law enforcement and investigators knew that a deeper look into the case was necessary. The circumstances surrounding the shooting didn't add up. A scene that seemed like an act of desperation needed further examination. Police began piecing together the details, working to uncover the truth of what happened that night. They were faced with the task of separating fact from fiction, as Terrell's story was full of inconsistencies that needed to be explored. Amanda's family, who had witnessed the joyful moments of the proposal, were stunned and devastated by Terrell's version of events. They couldn't reconcile the man they had known with the alleged attacker he was now being painted as. The claim of self-defense rang hollow to them. To the family, it felt as though their loved one's life had been taken in cold blood, not as part of a momentary fit of fear. In response, Amanda's loved ones took matters into their own hands. They launched a social media campaign, aiming to raise awareness about the case and to demand justice for Amanda. Through emotional posts, they shared the story of the woman they had lost and called for a thorough investigation into Terrell's actions. The community quickly rallied behind them, urging authorities to delve deeper into the case and question Terrell's version of the events. The family's campaign became a symbol of their grief and determination, a battle for truth in the face of injustice. The trial of Terrell Edwards began with intense media scrutiny, as the public became captivated by the case. The murder of a popular figure like Amanda S. Williams sent shockwaves through the community, and people eagerly awaited answers. Terrell Edwards faced serious charges for the murder of Amanda, but his defense of self-defense was under fire from the beginning. The prosecution carefully laid out their case, casting doubt on Terrell's narrative and suggesting that his actions were not those of a man simply trying to protect himself. Instead, the evidence painted a far more troubling picture, one that hinted at premeditated violence. As the trial progressed, a compelling narrative emerged, and the defense struggled to maintain credibility as the prosecution presented their evidence. One of the most powerful pieces of evidence presented during the trial was a video of the altercation between Terrell and Amanda. The footage, recorded on Terrell's phone, showed Amanda calmly placing a knife down on the bed, a moment that completely contradicted his claim that she had lunged at him with the weapon. The prosecution used this footage to argue that there was no immediate threat to Terrell's life when he fired the gun. Instead, it appeared that Amanda had been in control of the situation, defusing the tension. This key piece of evidence became the focal point of the trial, as it challenged the very foundation of Terrell's self-defense claim. Alongside the video, the prosecution also presented medical evidence and witness testimonies, all of which painted a picture that was inconsistent with Terrell's version of the events. The case was now stacked against him, and the jury was left with an undeniable truth: the act of violence had not been one of self-defense. After weeks of emotional testimony, the jury was left with a difficult task: to determine whether Terrell Edwards had acted in self-defense, as he claimed, or if he had murdered Amanda in a fit of anger. The courtroom was filled with tension as the jury deliberated on the facts. They had heard conflicting stories, seen powerful evidence, and were tasked with deciding the fate of the man who had once been Amanda's partner. When the verdict was finally announced, it was a moment that brought both relief and sadness to Amanda's family. Terrell Edwards was found guilty of 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 1 count of domestic violence. While the verdict didn't bring Amanda back, it was a step toward justice, and it sent a message to the community that domestic violence and abuse would not be tolerated. As the judge read the sentence aloud, Amanda's family could only watch in a mixture of disbelief and heartbreak. The man who had been the center of her life, the one she had trusted, had taken her life. His actions had forever changed their family. Terrell Edwards was sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 24 years. Though some members of the family found some comfort in knowing he would spend decades behind bars, there was no escaping the truth: the damage was irreversible. The loss of Amanda would forever be a wound in their hearts, and no amount of justice could heal it. The emotional toll was visible, as her loved ones tried to make sense of a tragedy that had been fueled by the very person who was supposed to protect her. The trial, while bringing justice, was only the beginning of the long road to healing for Amanda's family. Her death left a hole in their hearts that could never be fully filled. But through the painful journey of the trial and the fight for justice, Amanda's family focused on remembering her for the person she had been. The vibrant, loving woman who had touched so many lives with her kindness, her strength, and her ability to inspire others. They turned their grief into a commitment to carry on Amanda's legacy. Her children, her friends, and the countless people who had been touched by her words and actions vowed to honor her memory, ensuring that her story would live on in their hearts and in their actions. While justice had been served, the pain of losing Amanda remained. But through her family's efforts, her spirit would never be forgotten. The tragic case of Amanda S. Williams is a heart-wrenching reminder of the hidden dangers that can lurk within even the most seemingly perfect relationships. On the surface, Amanda's life appeared full of love, success, and hope. Yet, beneath the surface, there were tensions, unresolved issues, and signs of emotional strain that eventually led to her untimely death. This story serves as a powerful cautionary tale. Abuse, whether physical, emotional, or psychological, does not always reveal itself in obvious ways. It can hide behind smiles, romantic posts, and loving gestures, making it incredibly difficult to detect until it's too late. Amanda's death underscores the critical importance of recognizing red flags in relationships and the necessity of seeking help when things begin to go wrong. No one deserves to live in fear, and no one should ignore the warning signs of a relationship that may not be as safe or healthy as it seems. It's vital to have the courage to reach out for support before it's too late, whether that's talking to a trusted friend, seeking therapy, or, when necessary, leaving an unsafe situation. This story also shines a light on the broader issues of domestic violence and its devastating impact on families and communities. It's a reminder that it's not just the victim who suffers, but everyone who loved them. What do you think about this case? Was Terrell Edwards truly acting in self-defense, or did his actions reflect something far darker, an act of premeditated violence? The legal system has rendered its judgment, but the emotional scars remain for those who knew and loved Amanda. We want to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe justice was served? And if you're moved by Amanda's story, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more true crime stories that need to be told. These are the stories that can help us understand the warning signs of violence in relationships and the ways we can prevent such tragedies in the future. Thank you for watching.